What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be working with understanding and how to play power chords. So grab your acoustic, your electric, and let's get started. So first of all, understanding power chords. You want to understand it's a shape. So by a shape, especially on guitar, it's a movable chord. All chords are movable in some way, shape, or form on guitar. For a power chord, the thing you want to learn to identify is this shape. So when I'm playing this, let's just say, let's put our first finger, fret 5, string 6. You're going to go 1 fret, 2 frets up, 1 string up right here is going to be your ring finger. So right here, this is a power chord just with 2 fingers. So if I were to play fret 5 and fret 7, 6th string, 5th string, you're already playing a power chord. Now, you sometimes see people add the pinky right under this ring finger. So it's going to be fret 5, 7, and 7, and this is on string 4. It's the same thing as a power chord, guys. I want you to understand that. It's doubling the octave of your root. So this form right here, if you noticed, I have it on odd frets, 5 and 7. I can move it to 3 and 5. I can move it to 7 and 9. I can also have this on even frets. Let's say if I have it on 4 and 6. Now notice how I keep moving my fingers like this one by one. You want to get in the idea, since this is a movable shape, guys, you want to get in the idea of understanding that you keep the shape and you move it just according to where you need to go. And you base it off your root note. So what does that mean? Is that if you're playing or you're seeing someone play and you can't figure out what they're doing, you want to follow this root note and keep these other fingers in position, and your eyes should be focused on whatever that first finger is doing, because notice the shape moves along with it for a power chord. Keep in mind, guys, this is in standard E tuning. If I was doing this in drop D, we would be looking more at a bar looking chord or a half bar, where we're looking at it where we're hitting all the same strings on the same fret. So we're going to hit 6th string, 5th string, 4th string on the same fret here, 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 wherever it goes. But that is also usually in a drop D tuning or anything that's drop tuned. You can usually get away with that because you'll notice that the low E is matching whatever the 4th string is, and then the middle string, which is your 5, it will be a different letter. And we'll get into that a little bit more in a second. But for in standard E tuning, this is your shape. So once again, we're doing evens or odds when we move. My eyes are going to be focused on that first finger, and I'm not going to get used to this stuff where I'm moving and I'm breaking the chord. When you practice power chords, guys, especially with songs, you want to get focused on moving just as a shape. Notice how I'm moving it. That also comes a little bit from the thumb and how you're putting your fingers. If you have your fingers too far out or too far in, you may have to learn how to just work with just expanding those fingers out more or keep them closed in more, depending on what you're doing. So the thumb will be positioned a little bit more towards the side instead of up, but it'll be right here. And I like to put it a little bit more in front, at least 1 fret up above my first finger. If you play it different, it's not the end of the world, guys. There's so many different ways people hold their hands, but feels what's most comfortable for you for now. And you can always work something else in if you feel you're not doing it properly. All right, guys, now that we understand it's a movable shape, I want you to also understand how to do this in an open position. When I move this fret down, fret by fret, when I'm on 1 and 3, if I do this in an open position, I'm going to move my first finger to the 0, but my other 2 fingers are going to go to the fret 2. So now I'm playing 0 on the 6, but now I'm holding 2 and 2 with my ring and my pinky on fret 2, string 5 and 4. This right there, guys, that is an open position power chord. Okay, now let's do that again. Watch how I do this. I'm going to go 5, 4. I'm basing it off my first finger. 3, 2, 1. Open. Open on the first finger, 2 and 2 on the ring and the pinky. That's important, guys, because it's a movable shape. There has to be an open position chord to it somewhere along the way. So in this case, it's open right here. Another thing to understand is, even if it's a movable chord, you can also do this on different strings. You see how I have this, if you're referencing the first finger, I'm going to move everything up 1 string for my first finger. Now I'm on 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string. I'm going to move this back down by my first finger. Watch, everything comes back one lower. 6th string, 5th string, 4th string. Back up, 5, 4, 3. Back down, back up. I could do this anywhere on that, and the shape will stay the same. That's important, guys, because if you were to go down another set of strings from the 5th string down to the 4th string, the shape will change. So understanding that it's only on the 6th and the 5th string in that shape form is important. Now, understanding that you can also have it labeled as different on paper. Sometimes you'll see that it's called an A5 chord or a B5 chord. The reason where we get that from, guys, is because it's the 5th note up from your root note. So if my 5th note up from my root note, if my first finger's here and my ring finger's here, well, this is an A. If you know your major scale, A, B, C, D, E. So actually that's a C sharp, A, B, C sharp, D, E. This is going to be your 5th note above your A. So A, B, C, D, E. Or if you want major scale, A, B, C sharp, D, E. Just understand it's always 5 letters above your root note. So if you have a sharp or a flat, that may change what the letter name is 5 up above. But understanding the basics of, they call it A5 or B5 or D5, it still means power chord. So how can you build it as like, oh, well, they want an A5. Well, find your A note. I know this is E, F, G, A. Go up 5 steps from A. So A, B, C, D, E. This is an E. I can always check that if you know how to find your guitar matrix or find the notes on your guitar. A, B, C, D, E. So here's my A, here's my E. And then I already know that's an octave because that's the root from here. So there you go. Now you can play that and you understand what an A5 means. Okay, guys, so using this in context, if you were going to be trying to do this with a song, let's say you have distortion on, so I'm going to turn mine on already now. When you're doing this with the song, the idea is, once again, fixate your eyes on the first finger, especially if you're in a standard tuning. If you know you're like in standard E, well, if I have this chord progression, don't worry, if you're, especially as a beginner, don't worry about all the notes and everything going by. What you want to just focus on is, let's get the pillars down first. Let's get the outline. So I'm going to be doing, well, I know they start on 5th fret, then they go to 3rd fret, 5th string, because I could see they move up a string or down a string depending on how you look at it. Then they go same fret, but they go lower. Then they go back up a string, but they go back to fret 5. Well, what we really want to understand here is what my first finger did. We kind of made an X with my first finger. Watch, top of the X. When they move to fret 3 string 5, bottom of the X, top of the next X, and I'm gonna put it over here next. So I kind of created this X looking feeling right there. So the next thing I would do is just work on getting the timing with the song. And then lastly, I would start working on the rhythm. Now, if you're not able to do that, or if you have it tabbed out, you can always follow along and find the tabs that way. That'd be super important. Once again, in this video, I'm just kind of giving you a basic understanding of how to do stuff. So another example would be is if they're playing an open position power chord style. So if they're going, so if they're doing something like that, guys, what you're going to want to pay attention to, okay, well, look, you could see they're going to an open area and then back onto the fretboard and then back to an open area and then up a string. But more than likely, they won't play it like this, because it's just an awkward way to play that riff. So they may change the actual fingers to this. Now, once again, it's just because it feels more comfortable, but the idea is, notice they're still hitting 0, 2, 2. Then they're going to a power chord fret 3, string 6. Then they're coming back to it. And then you can see their first finger clearly would go up a string, but then they're hitting the 5 open. So if you see something like that, guys, it's the same idea as just playing. It's just a little bit more of a comfortable area to play that in. Okay guys, so I got my list out. We pretty much covered everything as far as the basics go, but let's go through the list. So we know if it's an E standard tuning, it's a movable shape, and your shape is going to look like this. It's going to be with the odd frets with odd frets, so 3s and 5s, 5s and 7s, so on and so forth. When you move the shape, you keep your eye on the first finger and it'll show you oh, they're just moving that chord around. If you're in drop D tuning, guys, you're going to be using a bar chord, and it's going to be on the same fret for 6, 5, and 4 strings, and this is a movable type of bar chord, power chord shape as well, I mean. So after that, understand if it's in an open position, coming from here, open position, you're still having fingers on the fretboard, but the first finger is off of it, so 0 to 2. So you even may want to consider the 0 to be part of the even set of chord. What else do we got? We also can call it an A5 chord, a B5 chord, a C5 chord. That just comes from the 5th degree above your root note. So if this is A, this is going to be 5 notes above where your ring finger would be. So A, B, C sharp, D, E. So that's how you get that name. Remember guys, when you're playing with the song, any kind of song, you want to start with the outline, check the shape, see if there's any kind of a shape that kind of is familiar with you. In this case, we use the example of, oh, it moves in an X. And then also the last thing is, you can always use different fingering. It doesn't have to be this shape if it's in the open position. Sometimes it's more comfortable to play it with other fingers over here especially. Well guys, I hope that helped you, and if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. I'll be making more of these along the way. If you need more help with power chords, drop some comments, send me an email. I also teach guitar lessons. I teach piano lessons as well. I also teach composition lessons, writing lessons, all that good stuff, theory. So if you need that, hit me up on my website. Thank you for watching this guitar lesson video, and I'll see you on the next one.